What I want to talk a little bit about now are dreams and see if you have questions, first of all, about what we talked about so far or anything about this topic, the topic of dreams. I'll ask a variety of questions and then we'll go from there. But
well, I'm still confused on REM. Is that when you're full asleep or?
Yeah, and REM, by the way, is considered still a stage of sleep. You're fully asleep. Sometimes people in REM sleep, you're not, you're still, you wouldn't be aware of anything around you usually, though sometimes we could still hear things that come in. How many of you all have had a dream about something going on outside, or your alarm clock becomes part of your dream, or your phone, you're texting or something and you hear it, or things like that. So it is possible to take in outside information still during this time. How many of you all have ever seen the movie Inception? Did you guys ever see that? All right, let's ask the question, because it's about dreams. And so the question comes in to play. First of all, let's ask this question. And it comes up with the movie. If you haven't seen Inception, it's a cool movie. So first question. If you remember the premise of this movie, it's entering another person's dream and changing it. In fact, this whole movie is actually more about forgiveness, isn't it? If you think about it. This song right now is called No Regrets. He regretted and couldn't forgive himself that he entered her dream. So could you enter another person's dream like he did and perhaps change it and change her? So the answer for a lot of people is, well, how would you answer this question? Can we enter into another person's dream and change it? We have no technology except in movies. Only in the movie. So let's try another question. Do we experience time dilation in a dream? Can you dream a whole lot of stuff in like 1 or 2 or 5 minutes, like a whole 40 minutes or 5 hours worth of stuff in just 5 minutes? That's called time dilation. Can we do that? A lot of people say yes, and the answer is no. 5 minutes of dream, roughly, takes about 5 minutes of real time to play out. So time dilation is not anything we find people are doing when they're dreaming. Another question, some of you might be experiencing forgetting your dreams. We know everyone dreams. We've talked about that. What percentage of dreams are forgotten? But you want to take a guess? What percentage of your dreams are forgotten? Yeah, it's huge. The answer is about 95% of all dreams. So 95% of what you dream. How many of you all have a dream and you want to remember it and you've been woken up from it and you get so you go back to sleep and lay down like exactly the same way, so maybe you can recall that dream again. Does anybody dream in color? Who dreams in color? Oh, who doesn't dream in color or doesn't know? I have no idea, to be honest. So the answer to this one is about 80%. And then the most common event dreamed by students? It's falling. Yep. The most common event is falling. So about 80% of people dream in color. And in fact, in a list from college students, they asked them, what type of dream do you have? 83% reported falling, being attacked or pursued, a good percentage, or trying repeatedly to do something. We talked a little bit about that. Schools, teachers studying, maybe sexual experiences, arriving too late, eating, frozen with fright, all kinds of fun ones up there. These were just what college students reported. There might be others now, I don't know. Being nude, yeah, that's a drag. Question somebody asked last time. When you are able, or are people able to control their dreams, who in here has on a regular basis, well, who's ever experienced that you've done this? You've been sleeping, you've been dreaming, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm dreaming right now. I'll do this in my dream and change it. Has that ever happened to some of you? Yeah, most people have at some point that experience. By the way, it's very similar to something we talked about earlier called dissociation, where a part of you goes like this. This is you dreaming, And so you're doing the dream, right? So you're dreaming, and then a dissociation means a splitting, a pulling away, and a part of you goes like this. Oh, I'm dreaming right now. Look at that. I'll change this or do this, or I'll find out. Some people do this regularly, not a lot. How many can do it on like at will or regularly all the time, have dissociated dreaming? Yeah, that's weird. What do you guys do in that? Do you just whatever you want? Did you say? That'd be kind of cool. Go ahead.
Teach yourself to like lucid dream by looking at your hands and looking at lights, because so like if I look at my hands in a dream, then I can go into lucid dreaming, because you don't really look at your hands when you get dreams normally, so then I look at them and I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. And so if you practice that in like normal reality,
Yeah.
like by looking at your dreams,
So
it's more visual while you're dreaming, and then you can go into lucid dreaming.
So she says one trick is to figure out some little thing to help while you're dreaming, to help you remember that you are dreaming. Is that what you're saying? And so you trained yourself to go, I'll look at my hands in the dream, and when you do that, you go, ooh, I must be dreaming. Is that your cue? Yeah. That's kind of weird, to be honest. No, it's not weird. That's fine. People do that all the time. No. So you say that while you're dreaming, and yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Whenever I'm in water and I can breathe underwater in the dream, that's when I go, oh, wow, I'm in a dream. So
Yeah. Whenever dreams are so he says whenever he's underwater or in water, he's alive, he's like, oh, I must be dreaming. I do that a lot, but it's a lot later. Like I'll sometimes realize instead of stepping on every stair that I go down, I just decide I think I'll just skip like 10 stairs and then 20 stairs. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. But it takes me before I wake up in the morning, before I realize it was a dream. So have you ever had any odd, shocking dreams? Like I don't know, I'll give you one of mine. This is kind of revealing. But I woke up one day thinking, because I just had a dream that I had previously been married and I had never told my wife. And so I woke up and I went, oh, I've never told her. And I got up and I went, oh, good Lord, that was a dream. That was weird. I don't know why.
So what happens when you're like,
What happened to us? We're fine.
when you're dreaming and like you kind of recognize you're dreaming, but you can't wake yourself up?
Yeah, some of you, how many of you know that you're kind of like, I think I'm dreaming, but I can't wake up, or it's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird, huh? I don't have the answer, I don't know. It's just a strange phenomenon. Anybody else? Yeah.
What about people who have dreams when everything else is like you're still in your body and everything, but suddenly your vision is lost instead of your body movement, but your vision is.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying sometimes in your dream, instead of like you can't move or speak, sometimes you just can't see. You just lose vision. Yeah. Again, I don't know. That's just weird. I don't know. These are all weird things.
What about the dreams you feel like when you're in the dream, you know you've had it before?
How many have had a recurring dream where it's just like, I know it's coming and this is it, and it happens like 4 or 5 times a year? Those are recurring dreams. Almost everybody has them, and they're just the strangest things. Again, yeah.
Like when I was younger, I used to have like really vivid dreams that I could like kind of experience it real time, you know. But like now, I just wake up and I kind of remember some snapshots from it, and I don't like experience it real time.
Yeah, sometimes our dreaming can change from when we're younger, she said, to when we're older. It's like it was more real, more vivid then, and now it's not as sometimes vivid. It's like little snapshots. Any other weird things, questions? Yeah?
Well, can like your mind like create people in your dreams, and like if say that person like reappears in like a different dream?
I think it's all possible. You're saying, the question is, could you there's a person in your dream that maybe doesn't really exist, but except in your dream. Is that what you're saying? And then a few weeks later, you could dream about that person and that weird person. Oh, sure, I think that happens. Does that happen to some of y'all? Or is she the only one? That would be odd, huh? Four people raise their hands, so you're fine.
It's like weird to me. I tend to dream about people that I haven't seen in years
Oh.
or talked to.
Oh, so a lot of dreams about somebody you haven't seen in a long time. I sometimes dream like all of a sudden one person becomes somebody else right in the middle of a dream. It's like, wait, I thought I was talking to somebody else. That's awkward. Well, by the way, Freud would have a field day with some of this because he liked to look at what was really going on behind the dream, that you made somebody else up, or somebody changed, or we simply dreamt one thing and we lost our vision, for example. Freud would go, that's revealing deep things about our unconscious, because Freud, the latent content of a dream, that what you're dreaming about, was one thing, but he was much more interested in the what's called the latent instead of the manifest. Sorry. So whatever's manifested is what you dream about. You're walking down the street, someone starts to chase you, you try and run from them, and then you confront them and you're face to face, and then you realize, they're going to kill me, and then, wait, they're not, or whatever. Well, he would say, okay, that's what you're dreaming about, but what's really going on in the latent content is kind of a road or a view of what's happening in your own unconscious life. The problem with these kinds of things, and the criticism is, it's hard to find any kind of pattern to dreams, because some people, he might say, well, if you dream about being on a train, that means this, when in reality, somebody else could be dreaming about a train and it means something completely different. So there is no real consistency to this, and that's why this, what we call psychoanalytic explanation of dreams, is just too subjective. There's just not a lot of continuity between explaining, and it gets criticized for that. Others people have tried to say, well, it has nothing to do with the content of the dream, whether it's the manifest content, what you're dreaming about, or the hidden, latent content. Really what's going on is just your brain is activating these nerve cells, and because they're being activated and cleaned and fixed and changed, they're stimulating certain memories or visions or pictures or people, but it's just this spontaneous firing, and the cortex goes like this. This part of the brain is being cleared out or stimulated here spontaneously, but it's about my younger brother. And then you go, I had a dream about my younger brother. It had nothing to do with necessarily any purpose behind it other than that part of the brain was being stimulated. And so that's kind of the opposite end. It's just like a random firing of nerve cells, and your cortex tries to make sense of this random firing, and it comes up with a dream. So others have used different analogies, like a computer. You know how you take old computers, and large computers have to be taken, quote, offline to be fixed or to be updated or to have software changed. You have to update programming, and so it's just, it's not able to take in, let's say, wireless or input while it's updating this stuff, and that's what dreams are. It's just updating the files, getting everything ready, and you're just dreaming about that updating. And that's another explanation that the brain's really just offline when you sleep and dream. None of these are great. There's some better explanations in the textbook. And different theories. There's a lot of theories of dreaming, and to be honest, not a single one satisfies a lot of people. Dreams are probably a combination of a lot of things. There might be some hidden meaning in some of your dreams, and sometimes it's just a dream, and sometimes there could very well just be your brain's just processing things, and that's what you're doing. It continues to be a very interesting area with not a lot of, a single theory is not surfacing as to explain why we dream. So there we go. There's another way of looking at this. It's information processing or physiological or cognitive, but you're not going to write this down at all, because it's just another way of saying there's some things in the book about what we just talked about, information and physiological processing, and then maybe even something deeper there. So I'll just point you to some different dream theories in the book. Read them, look at them, but I'm not. Don't spend too much time other than what I've provided for you. Now, before we move to sleep disorders, anything else about dreams that you've thought about or wondered about or have questions about? Or
Is there any different brain activity that spikes a nightmare over a pleasant dream?
Yeah, well, she asked about a nightmare, which does fall into a sleep disorder type of thing, especially if it's severe, like a night terror. So the question is, I think, is a nightmare different qualitatively than a normal dream? It's usually, nightmares aren't. They're just simply, they seem to be more emotional, and they have more of the emotion of like fear involved, but they tend not to be all that different. How many of y'all have had a nightmare recently? Anybody had a odd, strange? Okay, nightmares, they're not all that common. You can go for weeks sometimes and not have one, but there are some disorders that are more likely to occur. In fact, they've identified even more than 50 sleep disorders. Give me some that you know of. You've already given me some. I'll list them up here, the ones you may not think about. I don't think you have to write these down, but there are people that fall asleep, and once they fall asleep, they start what's called headbanging. They will literally, and anybody know a headbanger in here, or anybody know somebody who's done that? Was it you or somebody you knew? It was you. Do you want to tell us about it, or should I just tell him? How old were you? A preemie. So when you got home, It never went away, yeah. So as a kid, what happens is, tell me your name? Jenna. So what happens for somebody is they'll fall asleep, and a parent sometimes doesn't know what's going on. Like you said, your grandma didn't know anything that was happening, right? It just happened. And a kid will just start banging their head against a wall, right? And just boom, like that. And it'll be a loud noise, and a parent comes in, and the kid's clearly asleep. And so there's treatment. You wear a helmet, and you pad the walls. You do lots of different things, and then sometimes there's some medication that helps. But these aren't as common. We can see that of all the people in here, not many. Teeth grinding is probably more common. How many are teeth grinders that you've heard? And teeth grinding, that noise can be very loud. Kicking legs. My brother has what's called, used to, unceaseless itching, and we would, in the legs, what's called restless leg syndrome, and I'd be like this. I'm a really deep sleeper, and he would still be able to wake me up. And he'd say, Chris, and he'd say, are you awake? No, you dork, I'm asleep. And he goes, do your legs itch? And he would ask me that all the time. And I felt really bad because I didn't have any empathy for him whatsoever, because I didn't know what he meant. Do my legs itch? No, Joe, you ask me that every night. My legs don't itch. Oh, okay. And he's rubbing and itching his legs. Do your legs itch? Joe, no. I'm sleeping. Leave me alone. Put some lotion on it, man, or whatever. Stop it. But he's better now, I think. I don't know. Irresistible sleep for days. People can go 3, 4, 5 days. Anything else you want to add about what you know, Jenna? Anything else to that? Did you say medication? Is that what? Never figured out. Yeah. It's just an interesting sleep disorder, and there's nothing odd or weird about it, just the way it is. Sleep-wake cycle disorder, someone asked about that. These are maddening gremlins that sometimes show up very quickly, like that slip under the covers, like a pee under the mattress. Or a pee on the mattress for some. Probably the most common, narcolepsy is a big one. Sleep attacks. This is where there's a person who experiences an intense emotion, and that emotion causes them to fall into a state of sleep. Somewhat like a stage. Well, it could be a variety of stages, but they fall into this sleep, like a REM sleep, where they are no longer able to move in REM sleep, and they just fall asleep. And so this is a genetic disorder. The way they found out it was genetic, by the way, where people were, obviously, finding that other relatives this occurred. And sometimes people didn't realize it, but they would, there's a great video of a fireman who didn't know he had narcolepsy. He's climbing a ladder to go help put out a fire, and he falls right to sleep. Boom, he's just down and asleep. Guy makes a great pool shot, and, he's sitting there playing with this kid, and he makes this great, and he falls asleep. There's a whole colony of narcoleptic dogs at Stanford, and you see a dog, they get so excited when you see him, so you can go up to this colony and you go to this dog, come here, boy, and he's like, boom, and then he's out. And he just lays there for like 3-4 minutes, and he's out. And then he kind of comes to, Gets up, come here, boy. And he's like, boom, and he's out again. Food, I know it's bad, it's just genetic. And so they're learning a lot about narcolepsy from this colony of dogs. They leave food in there all the time because when you bring food in, they fall asleep. And so they just leave it in there. It's bad, it's a tough disorder. Driving is difficult. Obviously, you have restrictions for that, but it's triggered by intense emotions. Anybody know somebody that suffers from narcolepsy? It's not an easy disorder. And most of the time it can be controlled with medication. Controlled with medication, people that you know? Some? Yeah. Apnea we've talked about. You stop breathing the moment you fall asleep. And that one can go on for a long time. The treatment for this is recently gotten very popular. Wearing a mask, what's it called? A cap or a CPAP? This basically continuous pressurized air or whatever it is. It's just like breathing out of a car going down a freeway. If you stick your head out of a car and the air hits you, that's what they're wearing is a face mask that forces air in, and so they can't stop breathing it. And they get great night's sleep. By the way, people that wear these, what stage sleep if a person suffers from apnea and they go like this, ready? They fall asleep and they stop breathing. And they snore to get air in. What stage are they not? They're not getting to deep sleep. They're also not getting to REM sleep a lot. And one of the first things they do when they put this on is they feel very rested over the next few days because they're starting to hit cycles, deeper sleep and REM sleep. So apnea treated that way, the inability to sleep and breathe at the same time, that's the definition. There are other disorders. The other common ones by the way, sudden infant death syndrome may very well, in fact, it oftentimes happens in some infants that suffer from SIDS or even die from SIDS. They stop breathing, and it could very well be something associated with apnea. And there's more to SIDS than that, but it's certainly something that they've been exploring and trying to find out with some research with children that suffer from stopping breathing, and it could very well be associated with that. Common other stage 4 type of sleep disorders would be sleepwalking and night terrors. And if you've ever had somebody who deals with a night terror, it's horrible. I had one of my kids in the middle, he was like 2, I think, or something, maybe even younger. And night terror is like a nightmare on steroids. And this kid is just literally screaming and in the corner as if he's being attacked of the crib. And it's just scary. And parents oftentimes don't know what to do. It tends to go away as they age, and it's not a common thing, maybe once or twice for some people, but some have a disorder in which it happens a lot. Here's a little girl that suffers from sleep terror disorder, and I'll just show a little bit of her life and what it's like for the parents.
That was a nice story, wasn't it? Yeah, lovely. All right then, darling. Give it a kiss. That's good. Sleep well, yeah?
So it'll be about 45 minutes after she goes to sleep. Oh, what'd I do? Sorry, let's try that again. That was such a cool song, music. We'll just play it again.
That was a nice story, wasn't it? Yeah, lovely. All right then, darling. Give it a kiss. That's good. Sleep well, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Night, darling.
Holly is 6, and every night she wakes up terrified.
Hey, I'm here. Holly. Hello.
It's only an hour later. Though her eyes are open, Holly is fast asleep. She will not remember it in the morning. This is not a nightmare. It's a night terror.
Listen, I'm here. Oh, give me a cuddle. Oh, give me a cuddle. What's the matter?
Night terrors, according to all these books Marion's read,
they go to bed for an hour, and then they have this this one episode, this night terror, and after that they normally go back down again. But for some reason, it's you can set your watch by it, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
She'll go down. She'll go down excellently, won't she? She'll fall asleep. She'll go down lovely, and then an hour later she'll just scream the house down. To see it, it's amazing. Isn't it?
It's frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frightening. No, it's not me. We try to talk to her, cuddle her, and everything, and she just does not know we're there. Oh, it's okay. She calls out for me or Owen, but no, she doesn't see us. She doesn't hear us.
So that's the problem. But she says she doesn't see us, she doesn't hear us. It's stage 4 sleep, and so it's literally being asleep. She won't remember this in the morning. The parents do. Fortunately, she's not going into stage 4 sleep throughout the whole night, but early on in the beginning, as you remember the cycles, that decreases over time. And there's some treatments for that. And unfortunately, a lot of children grow out of night terrors, and some have it worse. But again, there's some treatment. But sometimes just parents have to learn how to adjust and live with this for a while. It can be very painful for the parents. The kid doesn't remember it in the morning. She won't have any memory of that. Insomnia is another one and there's some people struggle with this on an off and on basis, and there's a variety of things to do. It's just sleeplessness that hits. Sometimes people wake up too early and they can't go back to sleep. Sometimes people, just can't fall asleep. If you wake up much in the middle of the night, it might be comforting to know if you wake up and you can't go back to sleep. How many has that happened to you? You wake up sometime 1, 2 in the morning and just can't go back. It probably is only going to last about how long might you be in the next cycle? About 90 minutes. So if you could figure out a way to do something for 90 minutes, read or do whatever, then probably you've gone through a cycle and then you can fall right back to sleep. That helps some people, but there's other things on insomnia. I want to end by talking a little bit about hypnosis, and the person who ultimately we associate the name with is Franz Mesmer, and that name sounds like the word what? Mesmerize, which is where we get the name. Mesmer was known to put people around these, magnets at the time were thought to hold some powers that would cause people to maybe go into a trance, according to Mesmer. And so when people would do this and he would help talk to them, and that's followers of Mesmer, they became mesmerized. And so it probably was some form of like dissociation, like when you drive and you have highway hypnosis and you're not aware of it. It's something similar to that. Or when you're dreaming and part of you is seeing yourself dreaming, that was probably what was occurring. And we use this idea that it's like hypnosis. It's not sleep. It's just basically being in a higher state of suggestibility. And that's hypnosis. This higher state of suggestibility, people don't fall asleep when they're being hypnotized. It's not a very common thing in the field of psychology to use hypnosis. In fact, it's pretty rare, except for in some treatments for people that they could get help with, like pain or nausea. Some people might use hypnosis. But it's just not that common out there of a treatment, because they're going to rely probably on like drug treatments instead for some of this. And so over the years, though, people have been exploring this and trying to figure out what is going on when somebody gets hypnotized. So you were hypnotized. Do you remember it? Did you do anything weird or strange, or what'd you do? Took your shirt off, okay. You said it was just a graduation night, and a guy came in and hypnotized a bunch of people. So he figured out you were highly hypnotizable. Or at least, yeah. And about 10% of people are highly hypnotizable, and they can figure that out. How did he have you hold out your hand to see it was getting tired, or how did he find out you were hypnotizable? Do you remember how you got chosen? Don't remember. About 10% of the people are not highly hypnotizable. In fact, they're not at all hypnotizable. And then a good percentage in the middle or somewhere in between. It just depends. I happen to be on one end. I'm not at all hypnotizable, and it just doesn't work for me. But there are others that you can be more susceptible to this. And And so I was at the Orange County Fair this summer, and did you see the hypnotist there? Anybody remember seeing that? That person there? He's just simply looking around to find people that are hypnotizable, because he will use certain cues. And the theory is that some people just say, you weren't hypnotized, you were just role playing. Do you feel like you were role playing, or were you were hypnotized? You just don't, Others say that there is an altered state that a person that's hypnotized maybe is experiencing. By altered, it means, again, in a different than awake, and it's not like you're asleep, you're somewhere like different. That's what we've been talking about with the idea of dissociation. So an altered state, meaning you're kind of like focused on something to an extent, and you might experience that while even driving a car, so something like highway hypnosis. There are a variety of effects. Hypnosis almost had a huge following were it not for the invention of painkillers. In wartime, soldiers were getting injuries, and until the advent of major analgesics and other painkillers that would come in, this was starting to take effect. People are starting to do this because you could actually tolerate a lot of pain if you could just get your mind off of it onto something else. It's called this gate theory of pain. If you could concentrate on some other thing, almost like driving and thinking, so here your body is having pain, but you're thinking about something else, there's this concept that this theory of this gate theory of pain. Pain could kind of be almost diverted. And so I'll show you somebody who is able to divert this pain to something else, but these are some of the effects. Anesthesia, again, loss of sensitivity to this pain, or it's kind of a sensory distortion. Disinhibition, doing something that you might not do normally, though there is the possibility that people are just role-playing in many of this, and then some post-hypnotic suggestions. So let me show you real quickly. I'll put this slide back up, but here is one person who's hypnotized and one who's not, experiencing pain, and what it's like for them.
One of the most important practical applications of hypnosis is in pain control, used in surgery, dentistry, and childbirth. We'd like to demonstrate the power of hypnosis to alter consciousness and pain control. Laura's entering a deep state of hypnosis, and as she does, she's generating an image which dissociates her consciousness from the immediate environment. Mark, who's not going to be hypnotized, is going to be the control. I'm going to put both of their hands in this ice water, and as I do, they're going to give me a rating from 0 to 10, indicating how distressful it feels. 0 is nothing, 5 is moderate pain, and 10 is the limit of your pain tolerance, at which point I'd like you to take your hand out. So let's time it. I'm going to start the clock now. Mark, what is your rating?
2.
Laura?
1.
3.
Laura?
1.
4.
Laura?
1.
5.
Laura?
1.
7.
Laura?
1.
9.
Laura?
1.
Just try to keep it in as long as you can.
9.
Good. Laura?
1.
9.
Good. Laura?
1.
10.
Laura?
1.
Okay. Yeah, there's some social pressure on him as well, and but here's what's happening. There's just this pain that you can almost like divert this feeling and this gate theory of pain that says she's really just diverting it somewhere else. So that's the idea. Again, it's not as commonly used. In fact, you won't find much of it around, but there are some specific things that people are trying experimenting with to see if it could be used in other ways. If there's no other questions, we're done. So we'll see you for the exam on Monday.
Biola University offers a variety of biblically centered degree programs, ranging from business to ministry to the arts and sciences. Visit biola.edu to find out how Biola could make a difference in your life.